Hey everyone, Chris Sawyer here. The Varietal Show is back. Welcome. You're in my cellar right now, and we're having a wonderful time. This is Alethea Brown, my great friend.
Thank you, my great friend.
Fellow kind of growing up party pal, as we did back here in the great town of Petaluma, California. And this is down in the cellar. And you were here probably about 20 years ago. It's been a long time
that
since
was the last time.
We
need to have more parties.
We have definitely done more parties, but we definitely have. She has not been down in the cellar for a while. There's a lot more stuff, especially that you can't see, that is here.
Wild and wacky.
It's super different than back 20 years ago.
Yeah, try and get the cellar tour, guys.
Yeah.
When you meet Chris in real life, if you're so lucky, ask for the cellar tour.
Absolutely. So the wine I was showing you right there is the Chehalem, and this is from. I got to just finish off a story on Willamette Valley, and I had to write about Stoller family winery, Stoller family estate, to be really honest. But they also own Chehalem wines. So this is another great brand. We're going to be talking about it in a minute, but we're going to be hitting on some points here that are really fun today. About the Telluride Wine Festival, which I'm going to be leading the wines on again in the seminars. That's coming up in just a few weeks here, but it's also because the great people that are helping support that and are going to be on the panels, or I'll be just talking about them, like Chehalem and Stoller are going to be a part of it. And as we have been tasting right here in our glasses, we're tasting a little bit of Rodney Strong, and this is a great new release from Rodney Strong that I had to test on her. So Alethea,
I love our new release.
Yes. So Rodney Strong. This is actually something different from Rodney Strong. We all think about Rodney Strong. Where's it located? Russian River Valley, of course. The great Rodney Strong himself helped found not only that appellation of Russian River Valley, but also Chalk Hill and the great Green Valley of Russian River Valley, which is another sub-appellation of Sonoma County. But here we go into getting some grapefruit from different sources in California, especially Northern California, and really making a great wine here. But it's all sustainably farmed. That was the premise of this. You know what? I'm really getting, this is the purity of the fruit here, and I'm digging on this wine. Great nose, kind of got that nice banana kind of note, so it's got that little tropical thing going on. Almost more like plantains, but just beautiful. I know, grapefruit, definitely some melon notes, but then it's got the nice pear apple components as well. I'm digging on this.
I'm getting peach. Is that right or wrong?
You are right, indeed.
Yes.
Score. But the reason I wanted
to Northern California.
To Northern California. Here. The reason I wanted to really show you guys that is because not only is it a great wine, and it's going to be available out there in the marketplace, but we'll also be featuring that in Telluride, along with some of their other more vineyard designate ones that we're going to be doing for the seminars. But that's just a lead into this show today, because the real reason that I had Alethea here is because we wanted to talk about just shows in general and how these things happen. For me, this is, I believe, my 64th show of the Varietal Show, which is great. And it started because of last year. I always wanted to do more of these things, and I love it when people ask me to do them. But, I can only do so much on a phone and a camera, but I need the people that will guide me in the right direction. And that is BAMM, the company that you are such a big part of.
Yeah.
And you got to do so much, and that's BAMM.
That is correct.
Like Somm, but with a BA instead of a SO, so
yeah,
bam.
So just the two M's.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that, like metal.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
MM.
Bam.
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 Just creativity. You never know what's gonna strike.
So last year, crazy year. I got a lot of calls.
What do you mean? Just kidding.
Yeah, you got a lot of calls too.
We did.
And one of the ones that I really remember, even working with you, and my brother does work with your company as well.
He's the best employee of the month every month. He always wins.
He's been down here in this cellar many times. I was born in this house. So the great thing is that, we were there last year this year at the North Coast Wine Challenge. Sorry, the years are getting crazy, you guys. It is 2021 now,
21,
but we are talking
right.
about how it started last year, but we're still on it right now, doing all these filming things. The North Coast Wine Challenge, which is Daryl Groom, amazing man. Also the Press Democrat, the wonderful publication that I used to deliver as a child on my BMX bike. But the fact is that it's one of the great publications in Northern California, and they do this competition. I'm very proud to say I've been a judge the whole entire time that it's been done. But one of the things about getting the information out to people like you, who are the most important people, the ones that buy wine and like to have fun when they hear about new things and are adventurous, that like, I want to try that because it won big. It needs some kind of a outlet to get the information to you, rather than just, not even just right here, but it's what we really found last year was the boom of, social media and these amazing recordings that you guys could watch and even go back and say, you know what, I forgot about that wine. What was it called again? Let's go back and watch this.
Yeah.
You and your brand, the BAMM, was so big in recording that. And even the moment we finished judging that competition, you were there to take the announcement of the winners.
Yes.
And that was great with Steve and Daryl, and it was super cool. And there we are. And I even got interviewed by them. And so I think that's a really fun thing about your company, is that you really were helping so many people last year. And this is a big thing that you guys, that we really have to think about this, about how much did you watch Zoom last year, or just watch these recordings, or just hit on something like, oh, I heard this competition happen, let me look it up, and then the video comes up. It's not just the story, it's the video of where someone is explaining the wines and why they're so great and how proud we are of these amazing winemakers in Napa, Sonoma, in this case, Mendocino County, and Lake County as well. I mean, this was a great thing, and you did so many of these last year.
We did. You know what else we did last year, which was super cool, was virtual tastings. Woo. Right? And what's so great about that, like we did it with Navarro Winery.
Yeah, that's right. You did a great one with Navarro.
Yeah, and they sent out little samples of the Pinot, so not only could you taste the Pinot in your living room, but you could also not drink and drive, which is awesome when you're wine tasting.
Yeah, especially when people just weren't driving last year.
Yeah. Well, and thank goodness. Yeah. I mean, I really like that pajama or loungewear is here to stay.
Yeah, it really.
There's some great things about the pandemic, because I think what it boiled down for us is it's about connection and it's about stories.
Yep.
And video is just another way to tell the story. And one thing that I love about being thank you, sir.
Got it.
About telling people stories, even like, for example, when we film weddings, the couples say to us, I was so glad to be able to watch a video of the wedding because I don't even remember what happened, right? But now I get to see the best points of that event from the perfect storyteller's perception, with all of the perfect shots and just the best moment of the day. Yeah,
that's amazing. Where I got to see you guys in action before this was at the Napa Valley Film Festival last year. Or sorry, not last year. It was in 19.
Yeah,
November of 19.
Yeah.
It was right there in mid-November too, so it was super crazy. And we never knew that we would be in lockdown in less than 5 months.
No, we thought the fires were the big thing we had to worry about.
Yeah.
Little do we know, we can't go outside or be inside anymore now.
No, it was terrible. And here's to all the friends up there in El Dorado County right now. They've had some real problems, and I feel for them, and and the people in Tahoe, and I have great friends that have places up there. It's rough, you guys, but this is why wine matters.
Yes.
It's why wine matters, why these things matter, that you go down in your cellar and you pick out things, because when you do have contact with friends, it's really important to share good things. It's really important
to share good wine. Like, I always like people better when they have good wines.
Yeah. And I'll say this too. I mean, who out there feels like they're more of a chef than ever after last year? I mean, wasn't it crazy how we just had to wing it, and we had to actually open up some of those cookbooks that we always had sitting there, and we had to go down to the cellar and grab things that you just, let's try it. I don't know, how is it holding up? And I had some amazing wines that, you know, going back through the early 2000s and definitely the late 90s that I got to really share with just a few people,
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, even if
Socially distanced.
yeah,
Of course.
absolutely. No, you can't drink with the mask on, just so you know. But you got to be social distanced, and especially when you're vaccinated, you
Fully
can be close.
vaxxed,
You can be
yes.
close when you're vaccinated,
Yeah.
but I don't know about the rest of them. But
We really get off subject, don't we?
we don't. So going on to a great topic now,
Yes.
which is the Chehalem once again. So this is going to be one of the featured brands along with Stoller. So Bill Stoller is a great guy that started, actually, he came into Chehalem Winery back there in the mid-90s and really started a partnership with an amazing person, Harry Peterson Nedry. Sometimes I get those two backwards, and it is hyphenated, by the way. But they came together, and the thing was that same year, about 1995, when Bill came back and really invested in Chehalem, he also purchased his family's old property there in Willamette Valley, which is an old turkey farm.
Love it.
And it's so great because I got to stay there earlier this year, and the turkey emblem is still there on one of the big kind of buildings there, and it's so cool. But the rest of it is just planted to amazing fruit, and people source the fruit from there, and then they make their own wines from there. And I just did a story about the 60 acres of Chardonnay there. That's amazing, and I give a lot of credit to that program there. That's so great. And we're gonna taste another wine from them in just a moment. But you know, when you get to film these people, and when I just love being there. You know, there's certain people that just really fit into these things, and you got to be at Navarro, you got to do these things with Daryl, and you got to do a lot of things differently. You did some fashion stuff, didn't you?
We get around, man.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, we get to see some really cool stuff.
Yeah. So, what was
Wait,
the thing?
I want to know, does this pair with Thanksgiving dinner, like with turkey?
This is a very good pairing one, especially, I would say, especially if it's not just turkey, but it has some ham on the table too. And
Oh, I like that.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because, think about this. Turkey is so basic, you guys, and you're going to think about this for leading up to November and how it's going to go down. But turkey is a baseline. It's not about the turkey on the table. It looks cool and you get to cut it and everyone's cool. But it's about everything else on that plate. That's how you design it. If you put some ham on there, you got some stuff going. And, you know, I think when you and I were off air, too, we were talking about this being a really good pairing, probably with some risotto with some wild mushrooms on it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean, and you could put that on the turkey table and have it just be passed around. And I think that this would really complement that.
Or
too.
just a black truffle. Just kind of gnaw on the,
just
like a bite of truffle.
Yeah, or I'll just come over and shave it for you right
Yeah.
there because I'm a cool guy that
You are a cool guy.
has
I feel
access
like you
to
would do
truffles
that.
every
Yeah.
now and then. Not really, but you know, I just would want to do that for you. That's what I'm
You
trying to say.
would. Yeah,
wanna
the
do it
full
for all
service
of you.
sommelier.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Sommelier to the stars. What's your tagline?
That's you guys. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Sommelier to the
that's
stars.
Yeah, I like it. That's
Yeah,
good.
I didn't even make that up myself. That was given to me by
It was?
the great Greg Hittleman, one of my great friends who, when I was the first ever film festival sommelier in the Sonoma Valley Film Festival, he met me at the lodge at Sonoma, and he's like, "Oh, dude, your knowledge of film is so interesting because, you know, and the way that you're pairing this with films and stuff and this food is like crazy." And so that's why I became the world's first ever film festival sommelier.
Yeah.
It's because Greg was a great marketing genius. He now lives in Washington, D.C., but we keep in very close contact. But I give him nothing but credit for calling me the sommelier to the stars.
And you were telling me that you would pair a film with a bottle of wine, which
Absolutely.
I think is amazing because it's really about customizing your experience.
Well, let me just say this. Great bottles of wine really open up with time. I always compare it to the 1.5 liters that you'd buy all the girls, you know, like during when they didn't drink the beers that we did. Like, so you get them the 1.5 liters. But when you ran out of the beer and then you went over to drink the 1.5 liter, it wasn't that good because it was going downwards. whereas great wines go upwards when you open them. See where I'm going? And it's a very important thing. If you haven't learned that lesson yet, you really need to go back to school or something, because that's really true. I mean, inferior wines, or just ones that they're drinkable, but they're going to go down to vinegar faster than you think. Where great wines really open up with time. And I think that's really why I always say that pairing food and wine together is one thing, but pairing food and movies together is actually really interesting because it's character development.
Totally. And telling a story.
And when you think the guy's a jerk in the beginning and you want to hug him at the end, that's why you're like, oh, this is good. This is a good wine. And then like halfway into it, you're all, yes, I want more.
Yeah.
Because it's different.
Yeah, when we first opened this, it was really tight.
Yeah, it was, and now it's like filling out.
Loosey juicy.
So so this one is actually a vineyard designate too. So this is the Coral Creek, and this is really right there near Newburgh, in the little town of Newburgh, which is about, I'd say about 40 minutes out of the Portland area. So you're just kind of driving straight in there. But it's fantastic. When you get there and you're like, oh, just as you go over the hill there, you're like, oh, wow, that's awesome. This is really cool. And you look off to your left, and there it is, Chehalem, the original winery. They have a great tasting room right downtown in Newburgh, and it's so fun to go there. And I just love the energy there, and how it's really coming out in this wine. Newburgh. So, yeah, it doesn't have a berg with a U-R-G, it's E-R-G. That is something you need to know. Because you look up the other version, you might be in Germany. But this is Oregon. So great wine here. I'm really loving this. So
I love this character development. Great character.
Character development in movies and in wine, for sure. So moving on, I do want to pour one more too, just because these are wines that we'll be featuring up there in Telluride. And this one is called Nothing Else Than History, you guys. You ever hear of that class in college or high school?
I think it's called Her Story.
Her Story. And that's funny you would say that because it is a woman winemaker. Melissa is an amazing winemaker. And so is Katie, the other one that makes their wines for them. So this is History 2018. This is a red wine blend. It's from Columbia Valley. Columbia Valley, a portion of that is in Oregon. Just as is the case with Columbia River Gorge, and also the Walla Walla, the rock region of Walla Walla is actually in Oregon. So it's kind of weird when you actually cross. You think you're still in Oregon, but you're in Washington. You're like, oh, what? Or the other way around. If you're in Walla Walla and you just like cross a block, you drive across that intersection and you're now in Oregon. What? I don't get it. But it's true, and it's all because of the Columbia River. And it's I was looking up Columbia River in Lewis and Clark. It was 2000, or sorry, now here we are in 2021, but back in 1803 when they started their little trek, little meant big because they didn't know where they were going. They had no idea except for pointing that way and looking at their compass and getting a lot of resources through their people that they met along the way. But it was in 1805 that they really came out to Astoria, where I actually lived, and that's where Fort Clatsop and all that stuff was established out there, and it really opened up the waterways for what became the state of Oregon, and that was in February 14th of 1859. Winning.
Come on.
Yep, pulled that out of my back pocket.
1859. All right, that sounds right.
Yep, 1859.
Yeah, I'm done with that.
Boom, done.
Done.
All right, moving on.
All right.
So I think that's what's so interesting
now we're
about
in Oregon.
Yeah, we're there, but we're along the Columbia now. So this is a Cabernet blend. It's got a little bit of Merlot in it too. I think there's a little bit of Cabernet Franc in here. There is Malbec too. So it's got 16% Malbec, 22% Cabernet Franc in it too. Or 22% Merlot, sorry. So crazy good. I mean, this is
really good.
This is smelling so wonderful. Yeah. This one makes me want a steak pretty bad.
Or like just another sip. Like I just really want more of this.
It's actually approachable and it's wonderful, but it really does have the history. And when you think about Oregon, you got to think about the Columbia River because it's why it was all there. It's because of Lewis and Clark coming out to the ocean and really establishing that okay, we can get there. And they claimed that area for the United States as well, and it's under Thomas Jefferson's rule at the point. So it was a wonderful time, you know. I agree.
It was a wonderful time.
It was
except for some people, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, I didn't.
We won't go
yeah,
there.
I wasn't a trapper or anything like that. I didn't do anything to make neck things. I didn't do any of that. But, you know, I think about it a lot because of growing up in Oregon. You know, for those 3 years that were very important parts of my years in high school.
Years.
When the Goonies was made.
Yeah.
And that's a great movie, you guys. But I think that this is a really fun wine. And for me to be able to take wines like this to Oregon with me is
along the Oregon Trail.
Yeah. But also to take Oregon to Telluride.
Yes! So excited about Telluride.
Is super cool. And to take Rodney Strong with me to Telluride is super cool. And many other great wines that we'll be talking about on this show as we move along. But
and everything tastes better in Telluride. I think it's the altitude.
It does. They have great restaurants there too.
Yeah.
And it is a great destination. If you've never been there, please try to go to Telluride.
Skip Aspen.
It's just different than Aspen. Let me just say that. You can fly into Denver and drive up to Aspen very easy. It's a
special place.
It's a special place.
It's for special people only.
Yeah, but it'll take 6 hours, maybe 7 hours if you
drive.
Yeah,
the runway is real short too.
It's a very short runway.
It's a nail biter.
Yeah, they just reopened it. I'm not going to fly in there. I'm going to fly into Montreux and take the bus.
Oh, Montreux.
Yeah. So very
You know,
cool.
April Daniels?
Yes.
Her father was the district attorney of Montrose County.
Really?
Old school.
Old school.
Why work when you can network?
Ching. But this is kind of a fun thing. But, you know, I think that really the point of this show, too, was just to have you down here in the cellar and have you guys all come down in the cellar.
Thanks for partying with us.
But, you know, kind of just to promote you and BAMM and all the things that you've done. I mean, I think that what social media has done and just the way we've used computers over this past year has been really interesting, you know, and how filming has taken a different world. It's just
it
different.
is our world.
Yeah, and it's print media is great, but you know, it's hard, you know, because you know, like when I go back to my days with Wine X magazine, and there was this thing called the internet that was invented, and for some of you guys might remember this thing called the internet, and it came out right around the 2000 point there, that really where it went boom, 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 boom. It went big, and the problem with Wine X magazine was, you know, people would just, you know, we would be supported by advertising money, and people, the wineries would go like, wow, you know what, we need to actually. We love Wine X and we love everything and we love the Wine Spectator and everything. We can't do advertising right now. We have to build websites and we have to do this or else we're going to be buried. We're going to be gone. And so I think that this past year has been a really good marker for the change of social media and really recording these things and documenting them and really being able to explore them, you know, as we do.
Yeah, well, we're creating a new reality now because we can't experience our own reality. So think about how many times you've seen a Facebook post, and when you see someone, you're all caught up with them, and you're like, did I really hear that from them, or did I just see the Facebook post? So that's what I love about videos. You just get inside someone's head. Yeah,
and especially live ones because they make you do it.
Moment.
And like, you know, I never edit these things, you guys.
No, really?
Not really. Unless there's profanity and I don't say that word. You know, but it's just one of those kinds of things that we, you know, if you're really on the move and you're really talking like real people do to each other, you can do this. And it's really fun. And I think that's why I think BAMM has been a really great marker for that, especially not only here in the Bay Area, but also everywhere else that you guys film. And I think you've really done a great job.
Thanks, man. I think you've done a great job too. Thanks for bringing wine and making connections. Yeah. We need it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us once again on the Varietal Show. It's always fun to have you guys here. It's nice to have you down in the cellar again. We'll be back next week. Thanks once again. Cheers.
Thanks, y'all.